Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief program. Today, we have a mix of intriguing stories for you. First, Hong Kongers in the UK are embracing their newfound political freedoms, but many still fear the long reach of Beijing. Richard Wong, a volunteer for the Labour Party, shares his unique perspective on participating in a democratic election while his friends back home face imprisonment. It's a tale of hope, frustration, and the bittersweet taste of freedom. Next up, we dive into a heated debate over the Labour Party's proposal to add VAT to private school fees. This controversial policy aims to raise funds for state schools but has sparked a fierce discussion. Supporters argue it's a fair way to generate revenue, while opponents worry it will unfairly burden middle-class parents and smaller independent schools. Will this plan make the grade? Lastly, our spotlight turns to Hong Kong's recycling efforts. A reporter from the South China Morning Post took on the challenge of living a green lifestyle for a week and found it to be quite the uphill battle. With limited collection points and small living spaces, is recycling in Hong Kong more hassle than it's worth? Experts weigh in with suggestions on how to make the process easier for residents. Please stay tuned for the detailed coverage. Japan Times. In London, Richard Wong, a 25-year-old who moved from Hong Kong to Britain 2 years ago, finds himself in a surreal situation. He is actively participating in a free election, canvassing for a Labour Party candidate, while his friends back in Hong Kong are imprisoned for fighting for the same democratic rights. Wong reflects on the stark contrast between his current freedom and the oppressive political climate in Hong Kong, expressing a sense of bittersweet irony. His story underscores the complex emotions and ongoing fears that many Hong Kongers in the UK experience, even as they embrace their newfound political freedoms. BBC. The Labour Party's proposal to impose VAT on private school fees to fund state school teachers has sparked a heated debate. Sam Friedman, a former advisor to the Education Secretary, supports the policy, arguing it targets the wealthiest who can afford it, while Christina Merkett, a private school teacher, warns it could lead to an exodus to the state sector and undermine charitable efforts by private schools. Friedman counters that the state sector can absorb any potential influx of students, citing its capacity to accommodate Ukrainian refugee children. The policy aims to raise £1.5 billion to train 6,500 new teachers, but its impact on social mobility and the balance between state and private education remains contentious. South China Morning Post. Recycling in Hong Kong remains a challenging endeavor despite government efforts to boost participation. A Post reporter's week-long experiment revealed the logistical hurdles, such as infrequent collection points and the need to wash recyclables, which deter many residents. Environmental groups like Greenearth Action and the Green Earth emphasize the need for better education and legislative incentives to improve recycling rates. Innovators like George Wong Ching-hei, founder of the Loops Hong Kong, are making strides by offering door-to-door recycling services, but the city's long working hours and small living spaces continue to pose significant barriers. The consensus is clear: more must be done to make recycling a convenient and integral part of daily life in Hong Kong. South China Morning Post. Widespread heat stress will be felt by most of China's population by the end of the century due to climate change, with northern China expected to be hit hardest, according to a new study. Researchers from China and the US found that while the entire country has experienced rising heat and humidity over the last few decades, the rates varied between the north and south due to atmospheric features. The study, published in Nature Communications, highlighted the importance of wet bulb temperature, a measure that combines dry air temperature with humidity and has a human health threshold of 35 degrees Celsius. The paper emphasized that elevated heat stress, exacerbated by climate change, poses a significant global concern, particularly in tropical and mid-latitude regions. The study found that northern China had seen a greater rate of wet bulb temperature increase from 1979 to 2018, challenging the conventional understanding of China's regional summer climates. The Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region had the lowest initial wet bulb temperature but the most rapid increase, suggesting a need for adaptation measures to avoid adverse impacts of heat stress. South China Morning Post, from early spring, swarming miasmas of ever-present, constantly biting mosquitoes are an inescapable fact of Hong Kong life, especially in the New Territories. The mosquito nuisance, documented since the first summer of British occupation in 1841, has been a persistent issue exacerbated by mild winters due to climate change. Low-lying areas such as Wong and Tai Hang were particularly noted for these pests and the diseases they spread, like malaria and dengue. Over time, various methods to control mosquitoes were introduced, including smudge sticks, mosquito nets, and chemical sprays. The discovery of the link between Anopheles mosquito bites and malaria by Sir Ronald Ross in 1898 prompted accelerated efforts to eliminate mosquitoes across Asia. Remedies included spraying breeding areas with chemicals and using household kerosene to kill larvae in water tanks. Mosquito nets became ubiquitous in tropical regions, often referenced in literature and films. Despite modern advancements, the mosquito problem remains a significant challenge in Hong Kong, especially during periods of high humidity and rainfall. South China Morning Post, Vera Lu's journey from a traditional Hong Kong upbringing to becoming a sex toy entrepreneur is a tale of personal discovery and empowerment. Born in 1986, Lu grew up in a close-knit family and moved to the U.S. at 16, where she experienced a cultural melting pot at Middlesex Community College. Her first relationship was unsatisfactory, leading her to question her boundaries and self-worth. An internship with feminist animator Signa Baumain in New York was transformative, helping Lu understand her autonomy and sexuality. After a difficult breakup, Lu met her future husband, Pico, who encouraged her to explore her own pleasure. This led to the couple starting Sally's Toy, a sex toy business aimed at educating customers and promoting sex positivity. Over the years, Lu expanded her business and became a certified sexuality educator, contributing to a cultural shift towards body acceptance and mental health awareness in Hong Kong. Her mission has evolved to create a supportive community focused on pleasure, self-love, and connection. Associated Press, Abraham Ancer shot a scintillating bogey-free 7 under 64 to seize the first-round lead at LIV Golf Nashville, leaving U.S. Open champion Bryson DeChambeau trailing by 3 strokes. Ancer, who aims for his second victory in 6 events following his Hong Kong triumph in March, was in fine form at the Grove, a course designed by LIV Golf Commissioner Greg Norman. His round was highlighted by an impressive streak of 6 birdies over 11 holes, propelling him ahead of competitors like Tyrrell Hatton, who was just 1 stroke behind. DeChambeau, celebrating his recent U.S. Open win, entertained the crowd with his energetic display, including a memorable moment on the par 3 15th where he urged fans to cheer louder after sinking a birdie putt. Despite 2 bogeys, DeChambeau's 4 consecutive birdies kept him in contention. The excitement continued as he playfully interacted with fans, showcasing the vibrant atmosphere of the tournament. CBC, in a dramatic turn of events, Canada's men's rugby sevens team snapped a 29-game losing streak with a decisive 31-12 victory over Uganda at the World Rugby Sevens repechage tournament in Monaco. This win is crucial as they vie for the final Olympic berth. Matt O'Wuru's 2 tries, along with scores from Ethan Hager, captain Phil Berna, and Cooper Coates, led Canada to a commanding 26-7 halftime lead. Despite Uganda's Adrian Casito scoring twice, the Canadians dominated the match, showcasing their determination to return to the elite HSBC SVNS series after recent relegation. The tournament features a strong field, including top teams like South Africa and Spain, with Canada set to face China and Britain in upcoming matches. This victory rekindles hope for the Canadian team, which aims to secure a spot in the Paris Olympics alongside other qualified nations. South China Morning Post, Mimi Wong Chien, a contestant on MasterChef Australia, has captivated audiences with her culinary journey that began in her grandmother's kitchen in Hong Kong. At 13, she was thrust into cooking when her grandmother, engrossed in a mahjong game, asked her to prepare dinner. Her first dish, ketchup shrimp, was a hit, sparking a lifelong passion for cooking. Now 26, Wong is competing in the 16th series of MasterChef Australia, blending her Hong Kong roots with her experiences in Australia. Her creativity and dedication have seen her through various challenges, including a nerve-wracking near-elimination with a complex dessert. Wong's inventive dishes, like tonkatsu-inspired oatmeal and deep-fried turnip cake, reflect her dual cultural heritage and have earned her praise and recognition. As the first contestant of Hong Kong descent to make it past the top 8, Wong is proud to celebrate Asian cuisine on a grand stage, inspiring others to pursue their dreams and embrace their cultural identities. Al Jazeera reports that the United States Department of the Treasury has introduced a proposed rule to restrict and monitor U.S. investments in China, specifically targeting artificial intelligence, computer chips, and quantum computing. This move follows President Joe Biden's executive order from August, which aims to limit the access of countries of concern to American dollars that could fund advanced technologies enhancing military, intelligence, surveillance, and cyber capabilities. The countries identified include China, Hong Kong, and Macau. The Biden administration's strategy includes imposing tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, EVs, to curb China's technological advancements that could give it a military edge. The proposed rule mandates U.S. citizens and permanent residents to provide specific information when engaging in relevant transactions and outlines what constitutes a violation. The rule prohibits American investments in AI systems in China intended for military applications like weapons targeting and location tracking. Public comments on the proposal are being accepted until August 4, after which a final rule will be issued. Nikkei Asia elaborates that the U.S. Treasury Department has issued targeted draft rules to ban or require notification of certain U.S. investments in Chinese tech sectors that could threaten national security. These rules are part of a broader effort to prevent U.S. expertise from aiding China's development of sophisticated technologies and dominating global markets. The rules focus on semiconductors, microelectronics, quantum computing, and AI, and include exceptions for transactions deemed in the U.S. national interest. The proposed regulations also outline specific prohibitions and notification requirements for AI systems and semiconductors. The rules are designed to implement a narrowly targeted national security program, initially focusing on China, Macau, and Hong Kong but potentially expanding later. Former Treasury official Laura Black highlights that these rules will require U.S. investors to conduct extensive due diligence when investing in China or in Chinese companies operating in covered sectors. Violations could result in both criminal and civil penalties, with investments potentially being unwound. Yahoo US echoes these developments, noting that the Treasury Department's proposed rule aligns with President Biden's executive order aiming to restrict U.S. investments in advanced technologies in China. The rule identifies China, Hong Kong, and Macau as countries of concern and seeks to prevent American dollars from funding technologies that could enhance their military capabilities. Besides the proposed rule, Biden has imposed tariffs on Chinese EVs, a move with significant political implications as both he and Donald Trump vie to demonstrate their toughness on China. The rule requires detailed information from U.S. citizens and permanent residents involved in relevant transactions and specifies what constitutes a violation. It prohibits American investments in AI systems in China for military uses such as weapons targeting and combat tracking. The Treasury Department is accepting public comments until August 4, 2024, before issuing a final rule. Despite assurances from Biden officials like Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen that there is no intent to decouple from China, national security incidents, such as the shooting down of a suspected Chinese spy balloon, have heightened tensions between the two nations. Nikkei Asia reports that the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, has surpassed liquor giant Kwaichow Matai in market capitalization on the Shanghai stock market for the first time in 4 years. This shift occurred as the Shanghai Composite Index fell below 3,000, a dip attributed to declining high-end consumer spending, exemplified by Kwaichow Matai's Baijiu liquor. Matai's market cap dropped to 1.8478 trillion yuan, while ICBC's rose to 1.8507 trillion yuan, buoyed by a dividend yield exceeding 5%. This marks a significant change since Matai's stock price has plummeted over 14% this year, in contrast to ICBC's more than 15% increase. The broader market's decline reflects ongoing concerns about a prolonged real estate slump. The Toronto Star highlights a triumphant moment for Canada's men's rugby sevens team, which ended a grueling 29-game losing streak with a decisive 31-12 victory over Uganda at the World Rugby Sevens repechage tournament in Monaco. This win comes as a breath of fresh air for the team, which had been relegated from the elite HSBC SV&S series following a dismal season. Matt O'Wurr shone with 2 tries, while Ethan Hager, captain Phil Berna, and Cooper Coates each contributed to the scoreline. Despite Uganda's early lead, Canada dominated the first half and maintained their advantage. The Canadians now face tough opponents, including China and Britain, as they vie for a spot in the Olympic field. The tournament is a critical juncture for the team, which has a storied history but now must fight to reclaim its status on the top-tier circuit. South China Morning Post reveals that Hong Kong health authorities are investigating a leprosy case involving a 30-year-old woman who had recently traveled from the Philippines. The patient, who had a skin rash since early May, tested positive for leprosy at Seong Kwan O Hospital. Despite the alarming nature of the disease, the Center for Health Protection assures the public that the risk of transmission remains low. The woman's home contacts are asymptomatic and under medical surveillance. Leprosy, a chronic infectious disease caused by bacteria, can be treated effectively with antibiotics but may lead to severe complications if untreated. The disease spreads through nasal droplets or close skin contact, but not through casual interactions or sexual contact. Hong Kong has maintained a low incidence of leprosy, with most cases being imported, thanks to a highly effective vaccination program. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.